Hi, my name is Jeremy and this is MathomBooks. It's been a while and there's flies around. Let's do this again, just keep it rolling, it's fine. Hi, welcome to MathomBooks. My name is Jeremy. It's been a long time since I've been around, but I'm back and I'm really happy to be here. Today I'm doing a video response to Katie over at Chapterstackss with the 2 S's. She did a really awesome video just yesterday that talked about books that disappointed her. And the reason I was so inspired to do this video is because book after book after book that she mentioned, I was like, I hate that book too, and that book was horrible. And so I just felt motivated to do this video and give my thoughts as well, because I felt she did a great job of kind of talking about how on BookTube it's not always easy to be negative. But I think it's important for us to be able to be honest about the books we read, even when that means we don't like them or, we had less than savory things to say about them. So anyways, here's my video in response to Chapterstackss, books that disappointed me. The first book that Katie mentions is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. It's a book I read a while back and it was agonizing. It was so painful and I just thought so poorly written and just kind of cliched. All that stuff with the Jace, and it just really, really bothered me. And so as soon as Katie mentioned that and showed it really quickly, kind of joking around, talking about if she were to make a video about books she hates, that obviously would be on the list. It'd be on my list too, so sorry. My recommendation is, instead of City of Bones, read Perdido Street Station by China Miéville. If you want the gritty city urban aspect that City of Bones has, Perdido Street Station takes it to the next level. It's darker, it's got, kind of these otherworldly paranormal elements, but it's beautifully written, it's brilliant and well worth the read. Another book that I definitely was disappointed by was the Immortal Rules series by Julie Kagawa. I wanted to like it so much. I even, like the first few chapters I remember, I thought, oh, this can be really interesting. And then it just wasn't. It just fell prey to kind of those common tropes of, the love triangle, and it just got boring. So my recommendation is, instead of reading the Immortal Rules series, read Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. That will change your worldview. It talks about immortality and what it means to be human and why death is in some ways important and why it's part of life, and how death can't necessarily be transformed just by living longer. It's an amazing story. There's philosophy, there's psychology, plus just the beauty of her writing and the action. It's all there in Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. Another book that I was really disappointed by, that I wanted to like, was the Bloodsong series, Raven Shadow by Anthony Ryan. It was a book that had all this promise, and it was kind of this, fantasy story of these warriors that go to this school. They kind of take the outcasts of life and give them special training and train them as warriors and things of that sort. I thought, okay, this is kind of cool. But it turned into kind of just a really silly story that's like a schoolboy story in the line of like a Harry Potter, but without all the great stuff that made Harry Potter great. It was just kind of cliched with the antics that were going on in the school and, the dumb pranks, and there was no real momentum. It never really went anywhere. So I was really disappointed by that. Instead of Raven Shadow by Anthony Ryan, I highly recommend The Magicians by Lev Grossman. It's awesome. Take the Harry Potter awesomeness of a story told in a school and what that process is like, but kind of take it to the college level, the adult level, and you have this very, very deep, very psychological, very dynamic look at relationships and interactions, all kind of caught up in this world where there is magic, and they do perform things and travel kind of amidst worlds and whatnot. But The Magicians by Lev Grossman, highly recommend it. One of the most disappointing books of 2015 for me is the book Aftermath. Let me actually read the title to you because it's so long, I have to read it. The title of the book is Aftermath, Star Wars, Journey to Star Wars, The Force Awakens by Chuck Wendig. Now, this is a book that was highly anticipated. It's one of these new canon books that tells the Star Wars story reimagined as a prequel building up to the Force Awakens movie, which comes out in a matter of weeks. I'm very excited. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. You can probably see my R2-D2 back there, which is currently Tezi's prize, but we'll go into that later. Anyways, so I was all amped to read this. I got the book, started reading it, and you know how in the first few chapters of almost any book, you can kind of find some redeeming things about it. It's still building the story, so you think, okay, I can get into this. But the writing, left and right, just left me almost shocked at how bad it was. Let me give you one example. The tie wibbles and wobbles through the air, careening drunkenly across the Miriam rooftops. It zigzags herkily-jerkily out of sight. Instead of Aftermath, read Into the Void, Dawn of the Jedi by Tim Levin. It's really good. It takes this Star Wars story and goes way, way, way back, like thousands of years early in the history, and it gives kind of the beginning, the dawn of the Jedi and where they came from. And it was really well written. There's a female protagonist that is the main character, and I just found Tim Levin's writing to be refreshing. It was a new take on the story, and one that I can give a thumbs up to. So, for the last book that I want to mention, this is a big, resounding, Katie, you are not alone. This book right here, I thought was such a letdown. I was so disappointed. And kind of like the Aftermath, I was really excited about it. This book is an example of great marketing. They did such a wonderful job, and it's amazing to me when I see across BookTube how popular it is. The pictures are amazing. The design of the book is beautiful. I remember, the hardcover, it was the way it was put together. All the pages are decorated, and the colors and of the design, and of course, those haunting pictures that were so unique and so well done. I thought this is a story for me. And I even liked it, again, in those first few chapters, the stuff with, the grandfather and those stories, the hints of the stories and that beast out in the woods. That was interesting. But then, as Katie pointed out, you get finally to the house, and I won't spoil too much, but when you meet these children, you just kind of come to find that they're just kind of normal. There's nothing really that special about them. And they're not all that interesting. And to me, they weren't even very individualized. They didn't have individual characters. So I just felt that Ransom Riggs, the author, did a poor job of bringing out the characterization. As well as by the end of the book, I was bored, I didn't care, and it seemed very cliched. And my recommendation for you is if you do want more, and you're interested in something scary that maybe involves kind of these freaky children, read either The Shining by Stephen King or Children of the Corn by Stephen King. Those are two books that will definitely scare you. So thank you very much, Katie, for doing that video, for having the courage to kind of post a video that, shows that not all of these books are, always going to be the most pleasing books in the world. That took courage. I thought you did a great job. I totally agree with you that it's interesting to discuss books that we didn't like because it helps us figure out what do we like, what was missing from this book that we'd like in another book. And I think that's going to make us better readers. We're becoming more critical readers so that perhaps the genres and the writing and the authors and the publishers will begin producing content that's going to appeal to a more critical, dynamic reader. And I'm excited about that. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this response video. Again, my name is Jeremy. Thank you for watching. This is MathomBooks. I'm back. I also have another YouTube channel over at Stockman214. Tezi and I just did a video recently. I encourage you to go check it out. 5 easy steps how to booktube. I think you'll be interested in that. Anyways, find your voice and keep reading. Raven Shadow by Anthony.